I'm Tabitha Rock.
And I'm Sam Davenport.
Born and bred in Melbourne, we live and breathe property, and we know the Melbourne market like the back of our hand. We've both been buying and selling real estate in Metro Melbourne for over 2 decades combined, and we've learned a few lessons along the way.
Here we are at the Property Culture Podcast with Tabitha Rock
And Sam Davenport.
And today,
you know what? Someone actually joined us and I thought they were saying that they couldn't tell the difference between...
That's what I thought he was saying.
Yeah, but we sound very different.
I think so.
Oh, but I don't know. I just said your name and that's what made me think maybe people think that Sam Davenport said her name.
Well, exactly, because if you're watching us, I pointed to her when I said Tabitha Rock. But if you're not watching, you would never know.
Exactly. But this season, obviously, as most of the other seasons, we like to do a little case study, a little success study, and just walk people through what a transaction, one of the many transactions we've done, looked like, and some interesting takeaways and things people can learn from it. Because we often say to people that work with us that, you know, it's not one size fits all. Like we might do a pre-auction offer, we might bid at auction, we might have to negotiate on a private sale, we might have to expressions of interest, and like every agent does it differently. And so I think these case studies that we work through really give people a good idea of how differently it can all happen, and that, you know, we like other buyers need to pivot.
Yeah.
You know, it's not we've got the recipe for success. Every deal that we've ever done goes through differently because we're dealing with different agents and different personalities, different vendors, different personalities, different motivations from both the agent and the seller. So
and it's just a little taste tester of what it looks like. If you want to work with prop culture, you've been thinking about working with us or thinking about working with an advocate, and you're listening to us, which means you're going to call us. It just gives you a little insight into what it can look like, and maybe you might see yourself in the story. You know, maybe you've got a similar budget. Maybe that's the area you're looking in. And I just think it gives people just a really nice overview because every deal is so differing from one to the next. Yeah, it's nice to give people a bit of an example.
Absolutely. And I was just, when you were saying that, thinking, I wonder if these clients, the story that I'm going to be talking through, well, no, I was wondering how their backstory, had they been searching for a long time? Because I couldn't quite remember, but I just looked through my notes and no, I think they were pretty.
This is from earlier this month, isn't it?
I know. But I can't remember. Our conversation was months ago, you know, the initial conversation and meet up. And I don't think that they had been looking actually. I think that this is a first time. They're both professionals and they were ready to outsource right from the get-go. And
they knew that was the best thing for them.
100%. Yeah. They're both really time poor. I think they were struggling to get to inspections, even one or the other, and both of them. And I just think that was one of the key things. And they had like unusual times that they were available and things like that. But anyway, they were looking in the inner north. And they lived in the inner city and wanted sort of young professional couple. Definitely engaged, maybe married, and wanted that house that they can sort of stay in for the 5 to 7 years. So potentially have a kid in, 1, maybe 2. So needed to be 3 bedrooms minimum. And look, the budget was tight and they tried to stretch it like tight for the 3 bedrooms, good solid home in these areas. Yeah. Like you can get a 3 bedroom, but some of them need so much work. Yeah. You're like going to be tipping so much money into it. And we looked at all those sort of ones and looked at the 2 bedrooms plus the studies and looked at the newer townhouses. And when we'd been through maybe 10 properties together or so and came across this great pre-market property. And I say pre-market because they were prepping for sale. Like even when we walked through, they had the hire furniture in there already. But this is often what this particular company does. They do sort of like a 1-month pre-sale campaign off market to try and avoid obviously the advertising costs for the vendor. And they tried that. We actually must have come in sort of towards the end of that month of pre-market time. And we walked through it. It was, you know, a sort of replica Victorian, but it wasn't replica, but they were sort of a townhouse, but it was 20 years old, so it was really, really well built, dating a little bit in the kitchen and bathrooms, but not too much, like super livable, 3 really good sized bedrooms. And that's the thing with the 20-year-old homes is the bedroom sizes.
So much better, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Just the layout usually is right too.
It was perfect. It had the main bedroom with the ensuite. It had
exactly.
it was a pair and all the windows were on the west side. The rear was to the north. It had off-street parking. Like it ticked all the boxes, close to train. Like, oh, my God. And I just was like, this is the one because these guys are professionals. They don't want the period home real. Like they do, but they don't want the maintenance of a period home, which I think people don't realise how much maintenance period homes need.
Yeah.
Like when they get the building and pest inspection reports back, they're like, what? This house is going to fall down.
You're like, oh, no, it's been living for 110 years like this, 130 years.
Yeah.
Just like this.
So don't stress.
Don't stress. And they're all like this.
Yeah.
So if you want a period home, this is what it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was in Thornbury, this particular house. It's just such a great pocket. I mean, although all those suburbs in the north really like a lengthy, so they get away from the train stations. So far Thornbury either side is not great. We try and avoid those areas. But this is right, close to the train station, close to St. George's Road. And it was just perfect. So we jumped on it. We did a building and pest inspection so we could offer unconditionally in this pre-market. We submitted our offer. It goes online.
Oh, I remember this one. I remember
I
this deal now.
was ropeable.
Yeah.
And with all the discussions with the agent, no, you can buy it pre-market because I saw the furniture. When's this going online? No, you can buy it pre-market. Okay, well, we've just offered you an offer at the top end of your quote. You've got to change it because I was not happy. I was like, you just needed to be a lot clearer in your communication about where the vendors.
What day? You know what day it's going online. You know the day.
Yeah.
So
you know the photos had been taken.
Yeah.
So why are we not communicating here? And it was a bit confusing because I was sort of dealing with one agent, but then there was another agent that was a lead agent. And I think that probably got lost in communication that he was doing the vendor communication and I was speaking to the agent that wasn't directly communicating with the vendor. Anyway.
There's the issue.
There's the issue, yeah. But I think one of the agents was away or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it goes online and I'm not happy.
Yeah.
So then I contact them and I say, well, now because we've offered at the top of your quote range, which was your quote range off market, you now have to lift your quote range.
As having that as the lowest end.
Absolutely. Well, actually they put it 10 grand above at the offer that we put on.
Because the offer was rejected based on price.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah,
best not advertise at the price that was rejected.
Yes, and it's funny because I spoke to the agent at the auction. And he's like, "Oh, did you make a TikTok about this?" And I said, "Absolutely not. You did the right thing. You increased the quote."
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure it was just a timing thing. Like it was put online. It would have been in the admin system.
Yeah. It was already booked. It was booked in to go. And it wasn't.
But I just was, making sure I held them accountable and they did actually change the quote range. And so anyway, it went on after about a day of it being online, they had to increase their quote range $100,000. So it was talking round numbers. It was like 9 to 990. So now they have to now quote $1 million to $1,050,000. That wasn't the quote range, but it was something like that. Yeah. So then immediately every buyer in the marketplace now walks through that property and thinks they now want 1.1, 1.2 because they're adding still the 10% and the 20% because the market's hot right now. And so every property they're seeing is going the 10% over the top end. So anyway, we were still, for the whole campaign looking at different options and seeing what else is available. But nothing was hitting like this one.
Yeah.
But we were still going through. Couldn't let it go. So I said, look, guys, we've done the due diligence. Let's just go to auction day and see how we go.
Yeah.
Rock up to the auction day And also I'd submitted my offer with 5% deposit, but on the auction day I was like, remember the 5%? We need 5%. And that's one tip I can give buyers, that sometimes if you do need particular terms, waiting till auction day when the vendor is quite, under pressure.
They don't want to lose you as a buyer.
Exactly. You will get some of the conditions through. I think I would have got that approved prior to auction day, but I just think that really added a little bit to that. It was that day of intense emotion and they often want just to see the sold sticker on the board at the end of the day, these vendors. Anyway, and I looked around the crowd. There was actually another advocate there. She was with her clients and just watching how it all went down. But I looked around and I just didn't feel like there was too many other qualified buyers. It's so funny how after all these years –
you can tell.
You can tell.
I know. I love it.
I love it too. You can often pick them, and I just felt like they didn't have someone else there. Anyway, so next minute I put in a bid at I think it was under
your offer.
Yeah, under our offer. Anyway, one bid passed into us, no other interest, and so my clients calmly waited outside. And then within a few minutes of negotiation, we bought it $5,000 above the bottom of their new range. So only 15
grand more than your
original offer.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I think a lot of buyers in the marketplace would have seen that and be like, damn, if I knew it was going to sell in the quote range, I would have been more interested. But and I think that's one really key takeaway of this case study story is to really talk to the agent and make sure you understand what's happened in the campaign, where it's at, where the vendor will take, how many. I mean, these guys did say that they had 3 interest parties. So
what happened with that? I don't get what that's about.
I don't.
Is that what's the point?
A misfire, yeah. I don't know.
Did they say in the end though that they just lost all the 3 buyers?
No, I rocked up on the auction day and I asked, like I always do.
And he said he's got 3 buyers
3
there.
ticks.
You were one?
One. I was one.
Okay, so 2 others, yeah. I mean.
Yeah. But and then, I don't always get it right in terms of picking these buyers out. So they could have been there.
Yeah. Yeah. But they didn't put their hand up.
They didn't put their hand up.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah.
I just think that's
well, that's a almost 4-week time frame from when you first submitted your offer to when you purchased the property, and that's another good takeaway I think for people listening to this and listening to this story is that we always say every deal looks different, and it can be difficult to relinquish control. But if you have engaged us to work on your behalf, ideally you trust the process with us. Like we do know how best to navigate 99% of the deals that we're dealing with. There's 1% that's just totally rogue and you never know what's going on. But,
totally.
But we, in that scenario, for us to sort of be saying to you, like, just stick with it, don't stress, we're going to keep track of it. We're going to see how it's going. We're going to keep checking in with the agent through the campaign so that we know what's happening, and we're going to be there on auction day.
Yeah.
Because that's our advice.
Yeah.
That's what we're telling you is the best way to buy it.
With this one, I actually didn't touch base with the agent and made him feel like they've lost us.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, he didn't check it with me, which made me think he had lots of interest.
More interest, I know.
Which that's why I was sort of extra surprised when it got passed into me on one bid. But yeah I think, that's so true what you're saying there, in just trust the process and,
And it always looks different. It always sounds different. Like that, for them to tell a friend, oh, well, we put an offer in on this house and then in the end we bought it 4 weeks later at auction day when it passed into us. What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I don't get it. It's like, everything and anything can happen in real estate.
But it's funny, the emotional, the mental psychology of it all, because my client sort of sat there on auction day and was like, oh God,
is there something wrong with the property?
Is there something wrong with the property?
Always.
And I just wanted to explain, like, funnily enough, I think that our pre-auction offer sort of derailed their campaign a little bit unknowingly. Like that was not our
goal.
That was not our goal. I honestly thought that we were working with the agent to buy it off market. The vendor was going to save on marketing. It was all going to be a win for everyone.
Yeah.
But actually, what happened, it worked in our favor, but it just could have been a lot less stressful and could have happened 4 weeks earlier.
It could have happened 4 weeks earlier. All you wanted was $15,000 more. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But
well,
I
at that point, she did want more.
Of course. And that's the thing where it's like, I get it. We get it. You know, I get a vendor's motivation. And they've got the furniture in. They've had the photos taken. They probably, you know, the offer was probably at the lowest bare bottom end of what on a worst case scenario they would have accepted. And now it's like, well, let's see if we can get better.
Yeah.
Of course they would think that.
Well, that actually makes me want to point out something because I think there's so many advocates, not the good ones, they don't spruik. Like we buy 50% of properties off market, but certainly some of the rogue ones are saying that they just buy so many properties off market. And I'm like, you have to be overpaying or buying compromised property because the thing with that one is we probably could have paid the $35,000 more that at the time the vendor wanted, but we didn't. And I just said, no, park it, let's revisit it. And if we can get it under that, we're getting it under that. But I could have thought that. They probably had the budget or could have found the money. So the difference was $35,000, but no, I bought an on-market property, but I saved them $35,000. We could have bought it off-market and paid what the vendor wanted. Yeah. So just like, but my stats would show that I bought an on-market, not an off-market, but actually the stats show I save my clients $35,000 at a minimum, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that there's something to be said because vendors naturally get a bit greedy off market. They want the top price because they haven't been able to see social proof about what the market says their property's worth.
Yeah, so you're taking away the what if. You know, well, what if I do get competition on auction day and it goes, you know, $150,000 over what I even think I want for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time at the start of the year that I was giving some what I found were fair off-market prices on properties, and then they would take it to market and it wouldn't get to what their dream price. It probably got a little bit more than what, but I'm like, really, was that month of campaign worth it and all the pre-sale works? I don't think so. So sometimes the vendors need to realise a bird in the hand.
Yeah.
That old expression. But yeah, what key takeaway, don't get stressed when you're the only bidder at a property. Get stressed if it's getting passed in and negotiated to you when you're an average buyer because that sales agent is going to tear you to shreds. But don't second guess yourself about the quality of the property because sometimes it really is just the day.
Yeah, it can be 101 reasons why there's one buyer for a property on the day.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time it's related to the quote range.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
isn't
it? It is.
It's
the
like
quote range
directly in the wide, and hence why we have this, you know,
problem
issue of underquoting.
That everyone wants to bang on about.
If it's quoted accurately,
no one comes
to buy it.
Yeah. It's the weirdest.
We
need someone is surely doing a PhD on it. You know, the psychology of buying
human psychology
but also around paying and social proof and going up against other people.
Yeah.
When people say, should I sell via private sale or auction, I'm like, auction because people love competition. People love like the fear of missing out sort of energy.
There's this new phenomenon with the expressions of interest style campaigns.
They are at a different price bracket, I think. They're not sort of happening at the sub 1.5s, sub 2 mil.
So sub 2 mil they are, but it's like,
I haven't come across them.
It's still got the fear of missing out wrapped up so tightly in it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's still got that sort of mentality behind it.
Anyway, I just think that there was lots of takeaways from that little scenario that I went through with clients, but oh my gosh, on auction day, we're putting the sold sticker up. She turns to me and I was like, yeah, you can pop the champagne. She's like, we put in a bottle of champagne in the fridge when we submitted the offer 4 weeks ago. I was like, oh my God, if you had told me that could have mozzed the whole thing.
Oh my God.
I was like, okay, but like maybe it was a good omen this time, but I'm like, thank God you didn't tell me that. But I said that is so cute and like now you can pop the champers and it's definitely going to be chilled.
Yeah, Jesus.
4 weeks later, but
God, world's coldest bottle of champagne.
They're so cute. And now we're just, arranged a painted a quote to freshen it up a little bit, and they're going to be super happy in that home for many, many years, and that's what we're all about. So it's very exciting.
That's what we're all about. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for enlightening us with your amazing case study. on your inner city bar.
I
in
hate the word
Thornbury.
case study. Can we find a new phrase?
I'm fine with it.
Are you? We are sometimes on the same page about things and sometimes
not.
really not.
You can run some ideas by
I
me
will.
if you want.
Okay.
I don't like success story though.
No.
That's way worse.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know.
Case study. Client
story.
Client
Ew.
something.
It's such all Linick.
Come in if you've got an idea. Okay, F, marry, kill.
Yes, talk to me.
We're going inner city, north of the city, inner suburbs, Northcote, Thornbury, Fairfield.
Oh, no, this is so hard.
Oh, no, I love them all.
Yes.
None of the far eastern pockets of these suburbs.
Oh, perfect.
All through the centre.
Okay, perfect. I think actually I have to marry Northcote.
Wow.
I know, just because it's a little closer in. And, I'm an inner city gal.
Yeah.
So I really want to be quite in.
Yeah.
Love High Street, love the Merry Creek.
Yeah.
Love the train station.
What about Northcote Plaza? You love that?
No, don't love Northcote Plaza, funnily enough. I'm marrying that. I'm definitely effing Thornbury. Yep, vibe. I'll take you for one night. And then I'm killing off Fairfield only because it's a bit more of a family vibe. It's slower, it's low key.
Yeah.
It's, but it's not where I'm at right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I know you don't
I'm going to
come
marry.
over. What? Yeah, you're marrying Fairfield.
I just love it. People just talk a little slower.
Yeah.
They've got a little more breath in their body.
I don't.
They're just relaxed.
They're doing yoga in the park.
100%.
I'm doing yoga in the studio and it's high energy.
No, you're on a rooftop with like
I am.
And buildings being built beside you. Like, oh my God, get me out of here.
Totally. Love it.
Yeah. And Northcote, what's the other one?
Thornbury.
I guess
you'd probably
I don't really care. Thornbury, probably nothing kill you. What's there?
Northcote.
Thornbury's got the food truck park area.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Welcome to Thornbury.
Yeah.
That's a vibe.
It is. Anyway.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for sharing your story.
Welcome to Thornbury.
Okay, bye.
Bye.